Good evening, Razorback fans. Welcome to another episode of the Hog Talk podcast, presented to you by Believe, live from the Sterling Soap and Roastery Studios, part of the Believe in Buzz Radio Network, where we're heard on 106.7 Buzz 2 in Central Arkansas. All live shows are coming to you by Arkansas Brewing Company in downtown Ozark. I am Porter Hayes, and alongside me, as always, is Adam Hall. Tonight, we are going to talk Arkansas, Fresno State, college football. Playoffs have arrived, coaching changes, and more. We'll get right into it. Adam, I was keeping track of the high school playoffs and state championship games and totally forgot about the game on Friday night. Let me go over to my clicker. Arkansas 82-58 over Fresno State. Slow start, 10-point lead going into the half, and blew them out of the water the rest of the way. But the story of the night, I mean, just a lot of threes. We talked about a few weeks ago that we're just going to start seeing these types of games. Arkansas shot 30. They were 11 of 30 from the three-point line, and Fresno State was 4 of 26. So Darius Acuff, again, we're talking about Malik Thomas coming, having a coming out party. And I tell you what, Darius Acuff's really come out these last couple of games, scoring 18. DJ and Malik had 12. Carter Knox followed with 11. So good showing. They get a week off before they head to New Jersey to play. No, sorry. They got Queens on Tuesday, and then they go to Newark, New Jersey on Saturday to play Houston.
Definitely was a slow start. I think it was just under 18 minutes before the first points were scored. It was a sloppy, slow first half. You had shot clock issues in the first half. So here we are once again in Little Rock. And I know I'll be pushing some people's buttons with that. But it's one of those that a year or two ago, I mean, the lights went out in Simmons Bank, and then there's shot clock issues. And, it's one of those that happens. I get it, but I'd be remiss if I didn't poke fun at it. Once again, we had the Fayetteville folks versus Little Rock folks in the battle of attendance. I believe we looked up Simmons Bank holds around 18,000, and there's roughly 11,000 or so there. But, same thing happens in Fayetteville when there's not number 6 Louisville in town, when it's these smaller non-conference games. We're only getting 11 to 14,000 that show up at Bud Walton Arena. So it goes both ways. It's just a argument that keeps going back and forth till the end of time. But the second half, things really picked up. Billy Richmond got ejected. It's one of those that, we kind of talked about the technicals, I think, earlier in the game. Trevin Brazil got, I believe it was Trevin, there was a double technical, and then Billy Richmond threw his arms up with a guy behind him, hit him in the face with his elbow. Dude bloodied his lip. It's one of those things that, like we talked about before the show, when SEC play gets here and you're on the road in more hostile environments, these guys are going to do whatever to get under the skin. These guys have got to put some of this in check.
Yeah. I mean, because it's going to end up costing you a game. I mean, you look at some of these road games you got with Arkansas. I mean, you start out, you think at Auburn, at Ole Miss. I mean, and it could even carry in some of the home games. I'm just looking at, Georgia, then you at Oklahoma, of course, Kentucky, the big game, at Mississippi State, at LSU, at Bama. So you're playing at Bama. So, it's one of those things that this is where the youth of the team is showing. But I will say this, if it gets you a technical here and there, I will take that over it taking so long for this team to gel. I don't see this team starting 0-5 in conference play. I don't see this team struggling, and maybe because of the schedule, who you have starting off the first 5 games: Tennessee, Ole Miss, Auburn, South Carolina, Georgia, and then Vanderbilt. So, I mean, it's a good stretch, but this team, you look at the scoring. I mean, again, Trevin Brazil balled out, and then he had an off night, 4 points. But you still have production from, Knox took his spot, had 11. Acuff, Wagner stepped it up. He was 4 of 10 shooting, 2 of 8 for 3, but he was 2 for 2 to the free throw line. Shot a little bit less from the free throw line at 64%, but the turnovers you had 16 turnovers against Fresno State. Things that you need to tighten up. 17 points, 10-10, fast break points. Of course, you have 26 points, but the big thing, 35 off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're starting to see what, again, Malik Thomas could be your best player on the team, but in the game of basketball, him coming off the bench could be better off than him starting. It's weird how it is. I said this last season. Some players are just better coming off the bench. They're getting the nerves out. They're watching how the flow of the game is, and then they come in and ball out, and it's really worked very well for Thomas.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the other scores here. Let's see. Bama beat UTSA, Texas Tech over LSU, Kansas beat Missouri by 20. Mississippi State lost to San Francisco.
Wow.
We all know, and just in case we do have some of our BBN friends watching, I have to throw it out there that they lost by 35 to Gonzaga. I know there's a lot of Arkansas fans that were like, "Oh, don't poke fun at that," and I get it. Like, I held my breath the night of the game. I wasn't going to post about it. I wasn't going to talk about it because I was just like, karma is a thing, and we're going to poke fun, or Arkansas is going to have a loss or whatever. But at the same time, we've lost by 9 points and 3 points, not 35. And that's, Gonzaga's ranked 11th, but that's the same Gonzaga team that lost by 40 to Michigan at the end of November. So it's one of those, these teams that are playing each other in their non-con, like we talked about with the Elite Eight teams and Arkansas and everything. All these schedules with these non-conference games ranked against ranked opponents, these teams are just trying to get more and more ready for March Madness to get here. They're trying to get their teams ready before their conference seasons get here.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I really want to go back to, let me pull up last season's schedule. You had the exhibition with Kansas, then you played Baylor, had that game with Illinois, on Thanksgiving, Michigan. So you only had one. I guess you can call the Miami game. I mean, that was tight. You won 76-73. 2-3 games if you want, and then if you want to throw in the exhibition game. But when you look at this year's schedule, I mean, one, Michigan State, then you had Duke, Louisville back-to-back, Texas Tech coming up, Houston. I mean, this is a tougher non-conference schedule, but I think he knows his talent. I think he knows that, look, all right, guys, we got some returners, we got some new guys in. We're going to push you a little bit more. We're going to make this schedule a little bit more harder because I know that that's what it's going to take to get to the Final Four, Elite Eight. Because like we have said, once you get past the first round, second round, after that, it's skill and luck. You have to get a good draw. You got to come to play. Sweet 16 and on, you better be ready to play because anytime in the NCAA tournament, you can get beat. But if you have this talent, you're going to have to be tested like this in order to make it in March.
Mm-hmm. And I will, I'm going to play this video here just quick. I'm glad to see that Cal, early on in the season, he's already in midseason form. I think he stays in midseason form. But, his pressers are just walking video clips. So we'll play this one because we just both found this pretty funny.
I mean, there are a lot of older gentlemen with beards playing basketball in college right now. There are. So the one that's crazy is the guy comes in and he's waving to his kids up in the seats. And you're like, wait a minute, the guy got 2 kids. He's still playing college basketball. Crazy thing, he's using NIL for his first wife's alimony. And now he's still playing college basketball. Are we nuts? So now you have these kind of games and these kind of scores. That team is really old. My guess is, again, we're probably the youngest team in the SEC. We'll be one of the 3 youngest teams in the SEC. Those teams are old. Last year, every team was old in our league. They were old. And so now you're going to have those kind of things. And you're also going to have a team like a Fresno beat somebody because they got all grad students, seniors, and their average age is 25. And your average age is 19 or 20.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love it.
wrong. Well, and it's, it's been something really he's been more vocal about since really Kentucky lost against Oakland a few years back. He has 19-year-olds playing against 25-year-olds. The last few years he's made comments similar to this. And I mean, he's not wrong, because that's one thing that he's been talking about for the past 2 seasons in the offseason when he's asked, when it comes to eligibility and the transfers and this and that and the other, that they've got to stop this 6, 7, 8 years of eligibility. Like, it needs to be capped at 5.
Yeah, it will. But there's going to be a caveat to this because now you're seeing guys, used to, what was the quarterback's name from, Chris Winkie from Florida State go play baseball for a little bit and then come back.
Mm-hmm.
And then who was the quarterback for Oklahoma State that went and played baseball and then come back?
Is it Brandon Whedon?
And then now, look at Arkansas. I mean,
Monty. Yeah.
So you're seeing it sprinkled throughout college football that it's happened in the past. But the more that college athletic goes to this pro model, and you're seeing kids be able to go to overtime elite or the G League and then come back.
The G League is atrocious.
I mean, I have a prediction. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I think within the next 5 years, G League will be no more. College basketball will take that place. Because why would the NBA dump all that money into this G League? What develops people more? G League or college athletics, especially when they're making money? I think they're going to figure out a way that they're going to intertwine. They're going to maybe, you never know. I mean, everything's off the table now when it comes to sponsorships. What's going to happen when the LA Lakers become the full-fledged money of UCLA? I mean, if they're like, hey, we're going to be your NIL funder and we're going to kind of be your parent. And then if your guys, I'm not saying you could go play for the Lakers and then come back, but they're going to be the ones. I mean, that's where my head goes, because nothing surprises me anymore with the landscape of college basketball. But I could see it turning into some way, somehow, where these programs are going to be funded. They're going to be used like farm leagues in Major League Baseball. So, I mean, maybe that happens, maybe it don't, but it's just, I think that they're going to figure out some way that they're going to do away with the G League, and they're going to just use college basketball and maybe have a guy come in that, like, hey, he's been in the G League for a couple of years. He still has eligibility. We're going to put him over in this program.
Well, yeah, I mean, I could see that thought. The only reason I would say I'd be opposed is just how much separation and how different the NCAA wants to be from professional sports when it comes to how they operate.
Yeah.
A couple of years back, it was being rumored that the NBA was looking at starting basically a high school academy along the lines of an IMG or some of these others. And that way these players could bypass college when they reach college age. And then you go into the G League, and then you go into, the NBA.
Was that before NIL?
I think it was probably around the same time. NIL, I think, was a thing, because I know we talked about it on the show, and I've only been here 2.5 years. So it's, got to be in that same realm.
Because I was just thinking maybe they tried it out and they're like, oh, man, look how much these kids are making, and we don't have to foot the bill. We don't have to have investors. We're not liable. The insurance, any liability or anything like that, we are out of it. Let these universities and these college fund these players with boosters, NIL, and then segue it. I mean, again,
I think you take away just from the NBA standpoint and to keep them both separate, because if you did, like, what you're talking about doesn't sound too far off from
Yeah.
being, something possible to happen.
Some way of it, some
So,
form
yeah.
or fashion of it. Yes.
But then you would have to, I think, revamp your NBA draft because, you only have 2 rounds and you get guys that get two-way deals. You wouldn't be able to do two-way deals anymore because there's no longer a G League. I think that if you're the NBA, you take away or you remove you have to be removed from high school for 1 year. You let
Yeah.
18-year-olds get drafted once again. And you just strictly have hey, kind of like they tried to, I guess, do with Ignite. But hey, here's create I'm not going to say a whole new league because you already have the G League, but you don't have to go to college. You can come play in this 18, 19-year-old league and then go to the NBA draft, which I know that, I think the Ignite already folded, but I just think that they'll try to revamp something, take away the one and done rule and go that route before trying to foot any bills or help out college basketball in any way.
Yeah, because they're saving millions of dollars. I mean, you look at the kid that's at South Carolina. He the point guard that he was in the overtime elite or Eli Ellis, or what was his name? You know what I'm talking about? He was one of the most popular. He was up there with Malik. Him and Malik Thomas faced off in the championship game. He went to South Carolina, and Malik Thomas is here at Arkansas. And you're looking, okay, we could sit here and run this league or run the G League, but they're getting more exposure in this overtime elite than they are the G League. And then they come to a college like Arkansas, and I don't know what his stats are. I'll look at it during the break, but I think Malik and that kid at South Carolina are the only few that are really having great years. I mean, if another one's, I seen a thing where the top 10 prospects out of the overtime elite transitioning into college, they did, I think it was a couple weeks ago when there really wasn't that much sample size, but the fact that him and Malik Thomas were being mentioned, they're the only one of the few that were really contributing to their team. So they're seeing that data, like, why are we even doing this? If we can form a plan, and we've said this many times on the show, if we're thinking it, people with money are already thinking it too. They're going to figure out a way to make more money. And the more that NIL does, why not strike a deal with some of these schools? Or if you can't legally put it strictly tied with one pro team or this and that, they're going to find a way to get their investors to, Eli Ellis. So he's
10.4 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists.
Hey, 10% off on your shirts, man.
Oh yeah, hey, I'll take it. Shameless plug.
Yeah, there we go. Is that 10% now? It's 30%.
That's 30%.
Oh, wow. CFP, man. Get it while it's hot.
Yeah, put some money in our pockets. No, I'm kidding.
But he was the one he did. I mean, I think he had the game-winning shot to win the overtime league. He was playing against Malik Thomas, but that's where it could be going. I just have a prediction that something big's going to change with like just the G League itself. If they, again, you're going over there, like Bronny can go over there and score 25 points a game, and then he comes over to the NBA and there's a huge difference.
But then you see the guys like Jordan Walsh who use the G League to propel themselves, and now that he's cracked the starting lineup for the Boston Celtics, I mean, he's had an amazing past few games, and he utilized the G League for what it's there for.
Isaiah Joe did the same thing. Moses Moody had a stint where he was in between 10 to 2-way contracts or 10-day contracts, and now he's doing really well.
Ricky Council and Stanley Mude did similar. And then you had Dusty Hannah's doing this. So some of these guys, I mean, and it doesn't work out for some of them in the long run. They decide to go overseas. But then you've got your guys like, Jordan Walsh, and you do still see some veteran players that try to use the G League to get back on, an NBA roster, and it doesn't always work out. But at the same time, who knows what will happen? And a lot of them, they don't want to go, play overseas. So this is their last ditch effort, if you will, when it comes to the G League to get to the NBA.
Well, up next for the Razorbacks, you got Texas Tech. I looked up; they're currently ranked 9th 18th. I think it's what they said. They're 7-2 overall. They just beat LSU 82-58 today. So they got Arkansas next. I think they're ranked. Let me go to the Arkansas schedule. I think they said they are ranked. No, they don't have them ranked on here on the schedule. So I don't know what exactly they're ranked. But that's who they have up next in Dallas at American Airlines Center. So week off for the Razorback basketball team. So what we're going to do, we are going to take a quick commercial break. After the break, we're going to jump into all the CFP drama. We're going to talk about the coaching changes, touch on Arkansas Razorback football, and we will catch you as soon as I find the ad after the break.
Searching for premium brewery products that will take your daily routine to the next level? Look no further than Sterling Soap Company. Our handmade soaps, aftershaves, and balms are made with only the finest ingredients that give you the ultimate grooming experience. With a variety of scents to choose from, there's something for everyone. Plus, our products are crafted in small batches to ensure the highest level of quality. So why wait? Visit www.sterlingsoap.com or visit our retail store at 16 West Walnut Street in Paris, Arkansas. Shop our collection and discover the difference for yourself. Upgrade your grooming routine with Sterling Soap Company. Are you looking for a place to grab a cold drink and some delicious food? Look no further than Arkansas Brewing Company. Located at 201 South 1st Street in beautiful downtown Ozark, our establishment offers a wide selection of craft beers and tasty eats. But what sets us apart is our welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. At Arkansas Brewing Company, you'll always feel like part of the family. So visit Destiny and Christopher Brockett and staff today and see for yourself what makes us the go-to spot for locals and visitors alike. Arkansas Brewing Company, come for the drinks and stay for the friends. Attention DIYers and home improvement enthusiasts. Are you searching for the right tools and supplies to tackle your next project? Look no further than Mentor's Hardware Store. With locations in Ozark, Alma, and Clarksville, our vast selection of hardware and building materials is sure to have everything you need, whether you're fixing a leaky faucet or building a new deck. Plus, our knowledgeable staff is always on hand to offer expert advice and guidance. And with our competitive prices and convenient online ordering, Mentor's Hardware Store is your one-stop shop for all your DIY needs. Visit us today and let's build something amazing together.
Are you looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further than ATU Ozark Campus. As a 2-year satellite campus of Arkansas Tech University, we're dedicated to a quality workforce education, industry partnerships for in-demand jobs, and tailored paths for success. Our programs are led by industry professionals. Whether it's a certificate or you're aiming for a graduate degree, ATU Ozark has you covered. Visit our website at www.atu.edu/Ozark or contact us at 479-667-2117. Your future begins here. Welcome to Ozark Area Chamber of Commerce, where our mission is simple: encourage, promote, and aid an enduring environment of shared economic opportunity and civic development for the Ozark, Arkansas area. Whether you're a local business owner or a resident, we've got something for you. Shop our unique local businesses, explore the beauty of Ozark, and savor local flavors and find cozy accommodations. Join us in building a stronger community. And to learn more, contact us at 479-667-2525. Remember, together we thrive. And I want to welcome you back to the Hog Talk podcast. And this morning, yes, at 11, started the CFP bracket reveal, and not much. I guess there was a lot of surprise, a lot of upset Irish fans. But man, my biggest thing was the whole Bama getting in. I know there's a lot of SEC gas bags that were sitting there in their case, and I guess they, made a case big enough that they should get in. I don't see how. I don't see why, and especially giving them a rematch with OU. But other than that, I mean, you got Indiana 1 seed, Ohio State 2 seed. And my biggest, which we'll get into this breakdown of the reasoning why they put Bama in, is basically the conference championship game didn't mean anything. If that's the case, then why did Indiana and Ohio State flip? if that's the case, why did BYU get knocked out of the playoff?
Mhm.
If the conference championship game did not matter, the only one it didn't matter for was Alabama. And I know we can sit here and say that, you have Tulane and James Madison in. Thank Duke for that. Duke beating Virginia. Last year it happened with Clemson. Everybody was for sure that SMU was getting in, Clemson would be left out, and Bama would get in. Well, Clemson spoiled it. They got in, and SMU got in, and Bama was left out. They weren't going to let that happen again. But to me, you're playing your way in. You're getting a second chance to play your way into the college football playoff, because you can't tell me a bad loss to Florida State, then you get beat at home when your back's against the wall. You should have beat OU. You played horrible in the final stretch, could not move the ball against OU. And then you struggle to beat your rival, a 5-7 team, and they praised you for being down 17-0, come back and, you went for it on fourth. It's almost like listening to dumb people sound smart when Hunter Yurachek's explaining their reasoning for this. Well, they went for it on 4th and 2, and they just did this and did that. But then they sit there and say, well, Notre Dame was better than BYU since they lost again a game that shouldn't have mattered. Now they're going to throw them all the way out and keep it the way it is. I just totally disagree with the reasonings.
Oh, it's one of those that we talked about like last week and we've talked about before. They're going to cause whatever to just make this to where they're going to increase it from 12 to 16 teams. Yeah. Easier road for it. And I get it. Like these teams that are wanting or think that they should be in, it's all for the opportunity to get to the national championship. I understand the frustration, but let's be clear. Notre Dame, you weren't going to play in the national title game. Quite frankly, Alabama, you're not going to play in the national title game. BYU, you weren't going to play in the national title game. So it's kind of lost causes for some of these teams. Personally, I think the funniest thing out of all of this would be for the Final Four to have 3 SEC teams. Will it happen? Probably not. Would I like for it to happen for S's and G's? Yes, I would. So I think that James Madison's going to get rolled by Oregon. And, like you and I talked about that Tulane and Ole Miss game. That could either be a barn burner, if you will, or Ole Miss is going to win by 60.
The funniest thing to happen is if Ole Miss wins the national championship.
Oh, 100%. Because, Lane will technically still get a ring.
And LSU fans, listen, if Ole Miss wins the national championship, we've been hearing y'all gloat and guzzle. I'm going to say it, guzzle at Lane coming to LSU. Whoa. No pause. I meant to say that. These people has just been glazing. It is, all over Lane Kiffin. If Ole Miss wins the national championship, I am coming for all y'all, because y'all are sitting there thinking that this is the best thing since sliced bread. You're the other woman. And you know what? You see how things are going. This whole committee thing saved everything from happening, because I'm telling you, if Alabama got out of the college football playoff, Kalen DeBoer's freaking time is ticking at Bama. Guess who's going to go take the Bama job? You think he's going to stay loyal to you? No, he's going to Bama. So
Lane Kiffin's future
pettiness of why I didn't want to have Alabama. I wanted to see the fallout in my mind of that job coming open, and then Lane Kiffin pulling a Bobby Petrino and ditching UNLV and going to Texas A&M. I would love to have seen that. Yeah. Everybody would have been crapping their pants.
If LSU fans truly think that Lane Kiffin's future doesn't end in Tuscaloosa, then they're in denial, because we all know that that's how that's going to be. I was, props to, out of all of this, props to Cignetti in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I think he hadn't beat Ohio State yet at Indiana, and he finally did. You're number one. Yes, now the target is on your back, but kudos to him for doing what he's doing at Indiana, Big Ten or not. I mean, to take Indiana of all schools from where they've been over the last however many years to number one in the college football playoff is astronomical. And I know I saw some posts in some group earlier today that was like, oh, what could have been if we had fired Sam Pittman 2 years ago? Because they're saying that we interviewed Signetti or something. And I'm just kind of like, why are we doing this stuff? Doesn't matter. He's got Indiana in number one seed in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
I don't like seeing Alabama and OU playing round one. Not much you can do about it. I would honestly like to see A&M over Ohio State in the quarterfinals to go to the semifinals. I'd like to see Ole Miss roll Georgia to go to the semifinals. And out of OU and Alabama, I never thought I'd be rooting for Oklahoma a day in my life. And I'm still not going to be rooting for them because by all means, that game can end in a tie for all I care. I'd like to see OU take down Alabama because I just want to see the fall of the Crimson Tide in all fashion. Like, don't even get to the playoff. No, don't nothing. Like, I just want to see the complete demise of that football program. And it's nothing that Kalen DeBoer's done. It's all Nick Saban in the past however many years, what seems to be a lifetime. But no, I don't think JMU stands a chance against Oregon in that first round game.
Yeah, and you look at this bracket and almost if I could have it play out the way I would have loved to have kept Ohio State and Indiana seated the way they were, because I would love to see a Texas Tech Indiana national championship game. Two schools that have just never been there meet for the national championship. I think that would be one hell of a national championship. It sucks that cards play right. I know Texas Tech, you're probably going to be playing Oregon, and now Indiana, Alabama. That's good, but they can't run the ball, and that's another thing. How can you rush for -3 yards in a whole game and sit there and say that you're one of the best 12 teams in the country? Negative. I couldn't believe when I thought it was for the quarter or that drive. It was the whole game. And Indiana's playing really good ball. I think it's a disservice that we will potentially have to watch Indiana. But then again, you look at the bottom half, you could sit there and be watching Ohio State, Georgia play. Georgia's defense looked crazy good. You could have a high-powered game where Georgia and Texas Tech. I don't trust Ohio State enough to repeat. The way they just could not get clicking or get going against a great defense. And that's where some of these schedules with, if I could change anything with college football, instead of expanding this and that, why don't we keep conferences at so many teams? Because you're getting a lot more of these 11-1, 10-2 teams that get aided by a crappy schedule. They're not playing a full schedule. So all these SEC teams are like, oh, well, we did this and that. Well, half your schedule was against the lower, and I think that's what got Vandy. Half of their games were against the lower portion of the SEC.
So, and I know a lot of people don't like NIL and don't like whatever, don't like rosters being bought. I think a lot of it is because we all, not all of us watching, but we are Arkansas fans and we're a little bit jealous. But look at Texas Tech to see what happens when you have, your billionaire step up to fund your team. And there's more to come, like for other schools and whatnot. So, this is the prime example. I know we joked and talked about, I believe, before this last season on, it'd be hilarious if they spent all this money for Texas Tech to only win like 8 games. But look, they're ranked number 4 in the college football playoff. And I would like to keep tabs on Ohio State because this just came to mind while you were speaking. I would watch out for Ohio State over the coming weeks, if not days. And this isn't breaking news. This isn't anything that's happened. This is just purely speculation on my part. When Ohio State won their last national championship, their offensive coordinator was Chip Kelly, who just got fired from the Las Vegas Raiders. Look for him to become a analyst in the coming days or weeks before the college football playoff starts, just so they have him in-house to help with their offense. Because you can sign, I believe, analysts at any point in time. So I guarantee you we will see Chip Kelly in the booth in some way, shape, or form in the coming days or weeks.
Yeah. And to go off of what Ty said, sacks come off rushing yards in college. Yes. So if you take those away, they still only had 26 yards rushing the whole game. I mean, that is insane. So let's just play my favorite thing. Quarterback rushing yards or sacks should not count. So they had 26 yards rushing in a conference championship game. No team with 26 yards rushing should be allowed in the college football playoff. I'm sorry. You can sit there and say all you want. You are giving Bama the Saban treatment. He's not there anymore. That is not the same team. You can look and see it on the field. That is not the same team. If they're having to struggle to come back to beat Auburn, if they are having to, at home, second year in a row, do you think Saban, Bama team would have lost to OU 2 years in a row? They'd have got them one time. Do you think that would have happened the second year if that was Saban coaching Alabama? Hell no. This is not the same Bama. It's not the same LSU. It's not. You're looking at Texas Tech in 2 years now being in the college football playoff. You're seeing an Indiana team, 2 years, 2 straight shots at the college football playoff. Right here, Ty again. Michigan State's fixing to buy a roster. $100 million is going to their NIL. They just got a $401 million donation for their whole athletic program. Now that's counting marching band, and somebody was telling me like I didn't know what I was talking about. They said do research, and yeah, all of it's not going to the football program, but $100 million of it is.
Hmm.
College football's changing, and you have a coach at Arkansas that's bragging about $1 million.
Well, and I saw
$100 million.
There are some people like, oh, they, the couple or whoever that donated the $401 million. They're like, oh, you donated all that money, and all you get is a picture with the mascot. And I'm sitting here like, Michigan State's about to renovate or rebuild or whatever their entire stadium. Like, you're honestly, you're dumb if you think that that's all they got. They're going to have their name somewhere on that stadium in some capacity. But, I sent you a video earlier today. I don't know if you had watched it yet, but it was an interview with Texas Tech's billionaire, essentially.
I started watching a little bit and I got
But he sold initially just one of his energy businesses, and I believe he sold 2 or 3 more since, or his portion of it, for billions. But that's what these guys are doing. And we actually a year or two ago, I believe it was maybe last year, you and I had played an interview and started discussing it, because I think it had to do with Northwestern, or maybe it was another school, that there was essentially billionaires out there that were wanting to buy 51% of these college football programs. Mm-hmm. And it hadn't happened yet. It hadn't, whatever had happened. But this is what is happening. So if we can't buy it outright, as in we can't buy, a majority stake in this college football program, we're going to find another way to do it. And that's what we're seeing now. You have this guy down in Texas Tech, and have this couple up in Michigan State. These big money people are going to get their money to these schools and buy their teams one way or another. It's just a matter of how they're going to go about and do it.
Yeah.
That's where we are now.
Well, and we kind of teased, and I don't know if it's going to happen. There's been rumors about, the Walmart. Maybe that's what happened with the Walmart money. They don't want to put Walmart's name on it. So the former CEO is going to find a way to fund this. And we'll see what happens. I mean, we got a long ways to go for even knowing what Arkansas's roster is going to be like. We have a long way going of knowing what this coaching staff is going to do. But you look at those 2 examples right there on the top half of the bracket of Indiana and Texas Tech. And then let's see what happens next year with Michigan State. They got a great coach. So be looking out for Michigan State next year. I'm telling you right now, and the SEC is going to go into a frenzy. And this is another thing we're talking about, the grand scheme of the landscape of college football. We are playing a United States versus Russia type of war between the Big Ten and the United States, or the Big Ten and the SEC, of who's going to get to the moon first, who is going to take control of college football. Because I'm telling you, if Indiana wins the national championship this year, third year in a row that a Big Ten team wins, they're trying to throw any kind of wrench they can in making sure an SEC team is in that, because there is a war going on with who is going to have control of college football. The SEC for years had all the control with, 4-team playoff, and ESPN, they were fighting for 3 teams to get the 4 spots, or 2 of the 4 every single year. They were making it seem, well, whoever's in the SEC championship game, boom, they're in the 2 spot. So we're going to start seeing a transition. I'm saying, if Michigan State gets this and they put money into their roster and they get the coaching going and they make the college football playoff next year in year 1, you're going to see a seismic shift in the whole landscape of college football.
Texan, I got you. Let's find this right quick. So I don't believe there is a current one open. Not a current one open, but the last one for the Louisville game, which was 12-3, December 3rd, the jackpot was $11,800. So the winner got $5,900.
We got an applause button.
Actually, you know what? I feel like I do.
We need to start utilizing. Well, I've got all these buttons here, and I never touch them. We need to start utilizing these things.
It's coming through. It's coming through on my end, but
okay. $5,900.
$5,900. Well, and I saw too, like the day of, or maybe no, it's the day before. Like they were, all kinds of sales on tickets. Like you get, $150, get you like 600 tickets or something like that. They were going all out with it. Which, at this point in time, that's kind of, oh wait, here we go.
There we go. Congratulations to the winner. The winner is, I didn't even see it. They didn't have the ticket number.
Ticket number 99038507210. I don't know if that correlates with what your Razorback Foundation member ID number is, but that would be hilarious.
Probably they're sneaking it in. The last 4 digits, 7210. So congratulations to Razorback Foundation member 7210. You just got $5,900. Hey, that gets you a couple of tickets and a bag of popcorn.
Join me for these intriguing and fascinating cases in tonight's edition of Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah,
might as well be.
But Ty's on a heater tonight. Usually says things I don't necessarily agree with, but he's on a heater. I got to give him credit. But SEC boosters better start donating. The players will come south for the money and won't. Now, if the Big Ten starts donating, the SEC better start stepping it up.
Well, we heard all this, before all this was legal. It was under the table, McDonald's bags, handshake deals, all this money that SEC teams had, the other teams didn't have because they're doing things the right way, blah, blah, blah. And hey, all these other teams, they're having boosters and they're having these folks step up. And the SEC is not so far, or at least we're not hearing about it. And this is going back to the press conference for Ryan Silverfield's introduction. It still has stuck with me since, when was that, Thursday? So here we are 4 or 5 days later, and it still sticks with me that Hunter had to sit there and say the phrase legitimate NIL about 100 different times during that press conference, because he just wants to make sure that, and here's the thing, is it he's saying that it's legitimate because they're going to do the things the right way, or is he trying to shy away from the debacle with Blueprint Sports and whatever kickback he was getting that he doesn't want to own up to?
That's funny you bring that up. I didn't even think about that part of it. They're talking about legitimate and doing things the right way, and they got caught up in that blueprint scandal. I
Mhm.
mean, it's one of these that even the coach said it. I don't know if that's where you were going with it when you said doing things the right way. Coach Silverfield was saying that numerous times, right? The right way. There. If you're playing the right way, yeah, you're only getting half of what you need to be getting. I'm sorry. Everybody's doing it, but there is no what's the wrong way? I would honestly right now in the game of college athletics, what is illegal anymore? What is doing things the wrong way? I don't think there is anymore. So Arkansas better step it up because you're just going to get left behind because you look at what Vandy did, just flip the quarterback from Georgia to Vanderbilt. You got Lane back at LSU. Now they're going to be back on the rise depending on what money they can get. But I mean, we'll see how that plays out. I mean, I don't think they did the same thing with Brian Kelly thinking he was going to be the savior, and he went down there with his fake accent, and they stood by him. And now, Lane's the third wife. So we'll see what happens with all that. But
Hey, and shout out to Matt Campbell.
Yeah.
Getting, 8 years, $10 million, per at Penn State. Kudos to him.
And maybe Penn State done a thing like Arkansas. They wanted to make sure that they got the right guy. They did it the right way. And Matt Campbell's seen, but I know there was a lot of people connecting to the Arkansas job. You just can never know anymore in the day of agents and boosters and rumors and smoke screens. So yeah, I mean, $10 million a year, that puts him up there at the top of, the Big Ten coaching salaries. But
Kenny, your comment on, do we think the payouts for firing coaches in the SEC has hindered the ability to get donors to give big money? No, because you look at Texas A&M. I'll just use them as an example for what they paid out to Jimbo Fisher. And around that same time, I mean, they had raised, I believe it was reported, upwards of $130-something million. So it's one of those that you're going to get it. Your NIL money is technically supposed to be different. So it's going to,
Yes, it is. It is different. Now, I mean, boosters, and I mean, I guess it can be simply both because you're getting the NIL money from your boosters. So it could, in an essential way, if you're now having to get NIL money instead of firing coach money. But yeah, no, I disagree. For every rule, there's an exception. It could not happen to a better program than Kentucky. Absolutely love it. It should be legal for Kentucky to suck this bad.
It's just one of those things that I think I was a little irritated at the fact that, when did they lose to Gonzaga? Was that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever day it was?
Friday.
I just didn't like the fact that they were ranked 18th with like 3 losses at that point in time.
Well, and I think what that is because you know how the basketball schedule goes. They only release the rankings out
once.
So they could have lost twice in a row, still be the number 1 team in the country, and then say tomorrow the new rankings come out. But let's look.
Gonzaga, Kentucky 18th. Let's look at Kentucky's schedule. So Kentucky before Gonzaga. No. Well, yeah, they lost to North Carolina and Gonzaga in the same. So they lost 67-64 to North Carolina and then lost by 35 to Gonzaga.
But I guarantee you, after that Tennessee Tech game, they thought they were just invincible, 104-54, and then you get humbled and then guess what? They have Indiana up next.
Shout out to my boy, Coach Justin Bailey, who's an assistant coach at Indiana this year.
Let me get my tabs. My tabs are different. Okay, for those out there, college football schedule. December 19th, you'll have Alabama, Oklahoma on ESPN, ABC. December 20th at noon, 11 o'clock. Now, this is another thing we can talk about on Thursday when it gets closer to college football playoff. This is what's weird is you're having a game at 11 o'clock, a college football playoff game at 11 o'clock. Miami, Texas A&M, 11 Central Time, Tulane, Ole Miss, 3:30. And then James Madison and Oregon under the lights, 6:30 Central Time on TNT HBO Max.
Didn't we talk? What was it? The games on TNT last year that were just kind of atrocious when it came to the overall production and whatnot.
Horrible.
Or was it True TV or something or another? TNT, whichever it was.
Tomato.
Because they were using ESPN's crew, but it was TNT's broadcast, and it was just awful all around. So it's not yet.
You got anything else?
Well, I did for a split second.
Yeah.
No, it's not wanting to load. Technical difficulties. Okay. I was gonna just here we go. It's loaded finally. I'll just top here a second. This is for our Kentucky fans, if they are watching, if they are tuning in. Your mantra for the rest of your life.
Yep.
Just for y'all.
I love it.
And I know January 31st, things could go in your favor. But until then, Coach Calipari is 2-0 versus State of Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all have fun with that.
And we'll be there. We'll be at the game.
Yes, we will be.
So we will be there. Maybe we'll have some Cope with Pope shirts. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. We might. It's about Kentucky, so they won't strike it down. We're safe on that.
I think we need to throw those in TeePublic so people can get them before the game.
There we go. Great idea.
Good.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Don't forget to come back in T-minus under an hour. 50. Well, no, let's go 52 minutes, 57 minutes for an hour. Hog HQ live coming back. Matt, DP, and Adam will bring you their reactions to the college football playoff. They'll talk basketball and whatever nonsense they got going on their side. And the pick'em contest that we don't talk about on the show because I'm in last place. I'm not in. So
I now have a 2-game lead. I can protect my belt. So.
All right. Well, that will do it for this episode of the Hog Talk Podcast. Again, come back Thursday for edition of the Hog Talk Podcast, and in 1 hour, Hog HQ Live, and we will catch you on Thursday.